Hello. You're listening to Poetry Slam with K Bells and
KDZ.
Tay. Why do you look and sound distracted? You got to come in stronger than that. Let's start that over. You're listening to Poetry Slam with K Bells and
KDZ.
Okay. Thank you so much, Tay, for filling in as our guest host this week. Napoleon B. Might is out on vacation in California. We should blast his phone with some texts, find out what he's doing. Think he'll answer?
That man is currently either eating In and Out or he's eating fish. Either way, that man got his phone on mute, and I don't blame him.
Fish? Why fish? I can't imagine. Like, B Might is the type to eat wings with his sweatshirt off. Like he undresses to eat the wings. Like, no way he's switching to fish just because he's in California.
Well, K Bells, you're gonna need to turn on your camera so we can see your beautiful little face on this beautiful little show on this beautiful little evening.
Okay. My camera is on. It was on before. Can you see me?
Oh, we can see you.
Okay, great. I'm so glad you can see me. So glad to be on tonight. We have two very special featured guests. Should I say them now?
Why
Or
not?
wait
Go
a few
ahead.
minutes to introduce the first?
I think you should hype us up on the guest coming later and then introduce our next guest when the time is right.
Okay. So everybody, you've got to stay in suspense for the next 3 minutes. You got to stay in suspense for the next 3 minutes until I start introducing our first featured guest, who is so excited. And we were talking a little bit before the show, and oh my gosh, y'all are going to eat this up. You're going to drink this with your ears. Tay, what are you looking forward to tonight?
I'm looking forward to hearing, any new poetry, if you have any new poetry, or just hearing some nice, wonderful thoughts from Katie Bells tonight. And I'm also looking forward to, our featured guests.
Okay, I'll give y'all a little shorty. This is kind of a throwaway, like little scribbling of something I wrote because I'm going through some hair drama right now. It's a drama of, should I cut my hair or should I be patient and let it grow out like I want to? So I kind of wrote this like few lines, just like stray thinking. I was looking in the mirror and I said, so much damage. What have I done to my hair? Strand by strand, I let it fall into despair. That's the poem. It's just sad. Sad. Please revitalize these ends. Please cut me some bangs. I bought a wig like 2 weeks ago.
Well, you know what? Yeah. Revitalizing your ends. Only with hair can an end be fixed, because in real life, our ends are finite, and our ends are truly.
Oh man.
So good.
Positively, because in my head I was thinking, when they're dead, they're dead. You just gotta chop them off, like all those products telling you can save those ends. It's a gimmick. It's a hoax. Yes. Okay. We're getting to that time where we have to introduce our featured guest. Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness. We have the very special Maryland-based poet who writes poetry about mental health, decolonizing masculinity and friendship. They're a student at Towson University and finishing up his BFA in acting, graduating in spring of 2024. It is the one and only Chucky Rye.
What's up, y'all? How's everyone doing?
Hello. How was your evening?
Good evening, y'all. Thank you guys. Thank you so much, guys, for having me, come to this wonderful, wonderful radio show. You guys like are literally like giving me so much joy by like coming here because you guys are awesome.
Oh, thank you so much for all of your love, and we are so grateful to you for gracing us with your presence. And we know, like, your poems, fire, your poetry, your performance is just going to just light up our night.
I'm excited.
Okay. So glad you're excited, and I want to ask you like a couple questions about you for our listeners who aren't quite familiar.
Okay, I'm all here. I'm all here.
You're all here. Okay. First, I have to ask you about your name origin because I'm sure, a lot of people mispronounce it. A lot of people are wondering, what does that mean? So, can you give us the quick version of who is Chucky Rye and what does Chucky Rye mean?
So, it's funny because like a lot of people pronounce it Savaki Rai because it's my name is spelled Tsvakirai. But Chucky, then rye bread. It means searching for God, and it's a Shona name. I'm from Zimbabwe.
Wow.
Ooh, right?
So you're from Zimbabwe. When did you come to America? Like what age?
I came like when I was like 2 and stuff. So I've been here for I've been in the States for quite a while.
Oh, awesome. I was just curious because we have someone on our team who's Jamaican and she still has her accent even though she came here when she was still like before she was a teenager for sure. Tay, can you fact check me on that?
Oh. What would you like fact checking on specifically, man?
No, never mind, Tay. That.
All right.
Okay, so a part of me asking about your name was because, first of all, your Instagram handle, well, your poetry handle is really like creative, but your personal page handle, is it Chucky Finster?
Yeah, it's Chucky Finster. It's kind of hokey because it's literally like a callback to Rugrats, Chucky Finster.
Oh.
Right? Right there? Come on. You gotta admit, that's clever. Come on.
Oh, snap. Yeah, I didn't even like remember that. I used to watch Rugrats all the time, but I just like the part of like Finster because I know people have like Finsters on Instagram. So I was like, oh, snap. Bursting with personality.
No, like I just remember like him just being redheaded and just like this shy kid, and like I remember my old Instagram handle was the Boy Wonder and stuff, and I made that when I was like 14 because I was obsessed with Batman comic books and especially like Dick Grayson Robin, and I remember like it was like my second year at Towson, and like a buddy of mine, Marvin. I don't know if you know Marvin, but
oh my gosh, yeah, we've had Marvin on the show multiple times. He's actually guest hosted. Maybe that's how we got introduced.
I think that's how we got introduced to them because I think Marvin he introduced me to you guys. It was just like, you guys, you have to like meet these guys. Like these guys are awesome and stuff. But I remember Marvin was like, "How about Chucky Finster, like from Rugrats?" And I was like, "You're so smart for that. You're absolutely so smart for that."
Oh, snap. Got a text. Oh, I call him Marvy because I think his stage name was Marv Too Sporty. But
Sporty.
Yeah. Marv Too Sporty or Marvy Brown.
I think he has a lot of handles and stuff, but he's an interesting guy. He's quite the guy.
He's so funny and fun. But your poetry page is Chucky's Poetry, and on there you have an avatar of like an animated person. So who's that?
I really love animation and I love cartoons. And it's funny, before like I became I'm going to school for acting. I wanted to go to school for illustration, and a lot of times, like, I think I see like panels in comic books or in cartoons where, you know, they inspire me to like write my poetry and stuff. But like that Instagram profile pic, I was like, I keep telling myself I'm gonna like change it, but like it kind of just resembles like what I want to write my poetry for is like to like soothe that inner child of mine and stuff. Because I think like a lot of times like, you know, we let go of like our childhood selves and we're just like, we gotta like shut it down and put it in a box and stuff. And I don't know, like just like it's actually a picture of you know, Robin like pouring like tea and stuff. And it just like, I don't know, it just like it suits me. It's like it's something like just resembles the page and stuff, you know, where like it's just poetry.
Yeah, okay, I understand that. And I was curious because it's an animation and you talked about how you liked cartoons, and also because it's not an actual picture of you like on your main profile page, it kind of makes it come across like your poetry page is not an alter ego, but you know, sort of like another side of you. So
I would say it is another side of me, but like it's also like, while this poetry, like a lot of it's about me, like I feel like it can like relate to anyone and stuff, you know, where like, you know, I hope someone can come across like the page and just like find great comfort and like great like joy. They can be somber, they can be happy when they read my pieces, you know, where, you know, a lot of it comes from truth, from my truth, but it can be anybody else's truth.
understood. Understood. Okay, Chucky Rye, give us some truth. Give us some joy. Shower us in it.
Heck yeah, heck yeah.
We're ready for a poem.
Oh, we're ready for a poem. Oh, my bad, my bad.
I'm trying to be smooth with it, but like, ah.
Okay,
But
all
yeah,
right.
interesting questions about your profile. I have one more, but you know, we want to get more of a feel for who you are through your art as well.
Of course. All right, let me start with my first one. It's called The Oath. And this is a poem that I read every day, you know, to really bring a lot of energy and for me to keep going in life. So, I am that I am. I am a lilac dream who sprouted from the concrete jungles of a metropolis of love. Purple dreams of jungle boys wishing of a future of gummies and pretty dresses and suits of armor. I am the boy with the plum belly who loved nourishment, reminiscing of past days of eating cheesy pizza while laying on the patriarch's stomach as we get to live and breathe those meditative moments of bliss. Newborns living in palaces when they're in the reality of squalor. Childhood days reminded me of a peace of mind and a chunk of entertainment to help us escape treachery and heartache. I am the boy who hurt and is wrapping his bandages. Bandages that come from malevolent tribes, wicked in their nature and delicate to the eye. I learned how to rebuild from these henchmen of these melancholic storms that hit me. Built from the heavens above, with arms like Adam and the courage of Rogers. I am here to live. I'm here to tackle the day and to become who I've meant to be. Somber nights will filled with dread will dry out. The temple of me, my temple will be filled with amethyst dreams of my adventures with the capes, lavender tasting words of warmth and the milk and the cookies I make. In my temple, you will learn what it means to belong. And the periwinkle grin, ready to serve you and to give you a soulful embrace. I'm a serviceman who uses his essence to fight to make my world that's filled with malice and disillusionment and do everything in my power to fill my world with hope and allurement. That's poem number one.
Yay! Chucky Rye, the oath. Wow, that was so beautiful, and it gave me an air of spirituality because in your delivery you were saying I am so strongly, and whenever I hear like I am, it makes me think of God. And like just some of the things you were saying about, like, I guess self-acceptance. Like you said, this is just like one phrase, but like plum belly, and like you said that you love cheese. and and you said you're here to become who I am meant to be, and you will learn what it means to belong. And like the whole oath just felt like so safe. So what was your intention?
Well, it's my intention with that poem was essentially just to remind myself that I'm still here, that I'm still like a human. I'm still a human being, and I'm a person. You know that because I think at times like with me personally, I sort of lose a sense of who I am and stuff, and I tend to get lost sometimes, like with where I'm going in life. And like with this poem, it's just kind of like something to like root me to the ground and like to remind myself that like you're still alive, you're still here and stuff. Because I think at times that I give my identity and like my soul to people and stuff, and at times that like I don't like take helms for my I don't take the reins of my own life and stuff. And like this poem in a way is like to remind myself that like and to anyone listening that like you're still here and like you're still like able to take control and like to be the captain of your own ship.
Wow, that's amazingly inspiring, and I love that. Like, I feel that I got some of that from your poem, and I just feel like I want to hear it over and over again.
I have a lot of poems about like just joy and just like like you're still here and stuff. Like mental health matters, and I think mental wellness is important, and these a lot of these poems deal with that.
So, with that, I have to ask you, what feeds your inner artist?
What feeds my inner artist? My friends, my family, especially my siblings. Like my little brother and my little sister like have so much life and so much energy to them that like it feeds me to like keep creating and creating like words and places with like my pieces, my poetry, especially as like I'm an actor as well. Like I like in a way like the joy they get from seeing me perform makes me want to like create like the most extravagant thing like for them to like witness. My friends, my goofball friends, I like we are a bunch of goofs, and they're also actors and artists, and being with them like we're always like spitballing ideas and stuff. And like I'm a very like community centered person when it comes to like art and stuff, because like for me like doing stuff on my own and stuff and like trying to like source inspiration alone, like while I can do like I get like so much wealth from just being around as many people as possible.
Wow, that's amazing. And I really admire your efforts to stay grounded and keep your tethers to other people strong. Because really, as artists, being in reality and like fighting for that, and also being appreciative and involved in our world, is the best thing we can do to get in touch with truth and also add value to the world that we are a part of. So, thank you for that.
Of course.
Yes. So, whenever you're ready to deliver another piece of truth to us.
Of course, of course. This poem, I wrote this poem the day I turned 25 and stuff. Uh, being quarter of a century, going through a quarter of a century crisis and stuff, and I just keep, and this poem is literally about being 25 and this point on. So, New Year, same old person. A year passed. A year filled of picking sunflowers wrapped around in a thorn-laced dream. Dreams of leagues of heroes ascending to mahogany flooring, tap dancing to the god of Thespis. Too long have you pointed at the blame of others for your transgressions, befouling your steps and not realizing that you were this close to causing the final crisis that you were desperately trying to stop. A paladin with no vision for a better world. A year where you puffed your chest thinking you could become the hero of your dreams when you couldn't even save yourself. Listening to snake oil salesmen selling you promised lands, exchanging your dignity for carved cutouts of castles. When these crooks ran away with your essence, cashing it in for riches and diamonds. Yo, it's time to run these fools and rob them for your soul back. Listen, I'm still the same old person, but I'm trying to move more intentions. Intentions that don't involve me waiting for rebels to strike my heart and watch me bleed out. Intimate to embrace me with the love of Mickey, but stab you with the ferocity of Walt. Intentions to finally pour the rivers of delight into myself and to finally see what my brothers, my sister, and my parents see in me. Love, kindness. I want to live in truth and walk like the entirety of humanity's pantheon is in my blood veins. That the universe created me so that I can make mistakes and realize the catastrophes from the echoes of my being. That when I wake up, there's a chance for me to go and to create a life. A year has gone by, and I spoke words of violence and malice to my heart. Refocus and use those words to heal and speak beauty to yourself. It's not going to be an easy fix. You have lived on this earth for a quarter of a century. A quarter of your life, you brought joy to people's hearts. You made your family proud by just being their son. God gave you the nuclear family you saw in those Saturday morning cartoons. You loved and hurt and got back up to face the sun. Years gone by, and you want to utter the words, "I'm a failure." When in fact, you built a beautiful community around yourself. Remember, you are still here, and your world is waiting for you to make that mark. Go out and become the man of your dreams. The past is already proud of you, and it's time to go fly and meet with destiny. Thank you.
Chucky Rye, everybody.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh. I was so hyped for this poem. I saw a little like teaser for on your Instagram page, and I was like, I really hope he reads this one tonight. Yeah, when is your birthday?
January 11th.
January. Okay. So okay. Are you into the zodiacs or?
Yes.
Okay, so you're a Capricorn. Oh, right. Wait a minute. Okay. Pre-show conversation, you were telling me about your co-star. Yeah, you're into the zodiac.
Oh no, I'm very into the zodiac signs. Yes.
Okay. Can you guess my sign?
Oh, I'm really bad at this.
Two guesses.
Are you an Aries?
No, I'm not.
Are you? Oh no, are you Leo?
No. Oh my gosh, I think you guessed two fire signs. Aries and Leo are fire, right?
Yeah. What are you?
I'm a water sign. I'm a Cancer.
Oh, you're a Cancer. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, you're emotional. Oh.
Yes, I'm emotional.
I don't mean that like, that sounded so bad. Oh my goodness, no. I mean like, listen, I'm a Cancer mood, so like I get it.
I rarely get those. Like no one ever guesses that, but I think I'm a Virgo rising and like an Aquarius moon, something like that. Yeah. But anyways. Yeah, I was really hyped for this poem because I'm turning 25 in July, and it's like quarter century crisis. Bring it on.
Like, bring it on.
Yeah, and I really liked the tone change that you had, and I just really liked how dramatic it was. I couldn't write down like fast enough like the really cool verses that I like that you said. But you said
Thank
like
you.
a verse about like a paladin, and then one thing that almost made me like I had to hold it in because I didn't want to interrupt, but like listening to Snake Oil Salesman, like I kind of just want to know. It was kind of like contrasting a little bit of our conversation previously about staying grounded. It's like your mind was transported into like a fantastical world, but it also matched the idea of having like an existential crisis. So I must know like what was going through your mind during this creative process.
Well, so because like it's a long story, but I think it's the simple idea of like it's the same thing where like of like listening to your own voice and listening to your own heart and stuff, because I think like there's a lot of people who will lead you astray and will tell you like what's good for you when you already know what's good for you and stuff. So the snake oil salesman line, like I love that line because like I keep thinking of like, you know, a lot of people like in our age group who want to like a lot of people in our age group who want to listen to people and like want to like, you know, find a way, you know, to like have a nice life and to like to feel like happy and stuff, and they're listening to like, you know, motivational speakers, they're listening to people like Andrew Tate and like you know, like these billionaires who are promised you like a false reality and stuff. So I hope I'm making sense.
You are making sense. Well, what I'm getting from what you're saying is you have to be conscious of who's influencing you. Like, don't take so much in from your external world that you're neglecting, like, who you actually are, like your roots on the inside. Right? Is that what
Yeah,
you're
no, literally.
Okay.
And like I've fallen victim to, you know, a lot of people promising me like, you know, a false reality of like what life should be and stuff, and like, you know, it's caused a lot of detriment in my life.
Absolutely understandable. But you have figured out that you want to be an actor because you're studying acting, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Okay. So, with that note, how often do you think about being famous?
I do think about it a lot, but it's something where like no, I'm gonna be honest. I don't think about it. I don't think about it a lot. I don't, because I don't really do it for fame. Like I don't do it to think like, oh man, like I want to like get into like a Marvel project, or like I want to be on Broadway, or like I want to like, you know, be on a TV show. Because for me, I love acting. I love writing. I love being in the creative process and stuff. And it's kind of like if the day comes where I get like $1 million contract and stuff, I don't think anything would change with like my artist's heart and stuff, because like I'm doing it for the art. Like I think like in my opinion, people who like constantly think that I want to be like the richest man in Babylon, I feel like you're doing it for the wrong reasons, and it should be always for the art.
Right. Art first, purpose first, person first.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah.
mm-hmm. Yeah, and like I don't know, like I just like I never really like thought about that stuff, because like for me, I was an artist ever since like, you know, I came out of the womb. Like I like was obsessed with drawing. I was obsessed with cartoons and stuff, and I never thought of myself being like, oh man, I want to like, you know, have tabloids about me. Like no, like I just want like, you know, to create art and be happy. Like, you know, I'll be fine living a world of, you know, pennies and diamonds. And I'll rather live in a world with pennies and quarters than be a billionaire that's not happy, you know?
Absolutely. It's about the value, like the quality of experience you're having. I definitely agree with that. And as we're coming to the last 5 minutes of our time with you, I'd like to play Name That Poem if you don't mind.
I'd love to.
However, we want to give you time to perform one more time. So we're just going to do one poem that was submitted by a listener. And we're just going to try to name his poem. And, I guess he'll get back to us about what name he likes. So, this was submitted by Isaiah Everhart. I'm going to do my best to perform his work.
Okay.
Bible stories is not life lessons. Too many little men with slings. Napoleon complex. It's not that complex. I read Jordan and Hooks. Raise my son with a heart. Teach my daughter to keep a knife whenever in the dark. Life's unfair. I'm just playing my part. That poem was by Isaiah Everhart. Name that poem.
Okay.
Tay, you can jump in here too.
Oh my god, name that poem. Oh my god.
I'm thinking on it too.
I'm gonna say Everhart.
Everhart. I think Everhart.
Everhart? You guys want to name it his last name?
It's powerful. I felt like I was like puffing out my chest, hearing his poem.
Oh, true. Yeah.
I carry on this one. Carry on.
I mean, for real, I'm just gonna roll with you guys because it did come from a man named Everhart. It's his truth, his poetry. So like, why not?
I mean, okay. just saying. Nas put out an album called Nas. I mean, he put out an album called Untitled. Come on.
True. Okay, thanks for that. Thanks for playing our brief Name That Poem. We've got a few minutes left. So if you'd like to perform one more time, we can do that and then promo you one more time and head out.
All right, I will do my last one. I don't know if anyone has ever dealt with friendship and how important friends are. But this poem is friends who hurt you and leave you high and dry. And this poem's called This Is Towards You. I really hate apologizing to you, since it feels like I'm constantly walking on eggshells, skin feeling coarse when you pierce me with your Ragnarok eye. The child of Aphrodite and Adonis, sculpted from clay and built with bricks made of butter. Playmates born from a misunderstanding, words bounced off of the pages and jumbled together for us to create a dynamite friendship that could have been written by Socrates himself. Days went by, and your smile and aura was warm like the fields of green my ancestors resided from. Adventures of us running away and spreading joy with our adornment for each other. We were like warriors who knew what it was like to suffer and bleed for love. However, you truly never wanted to know me, and all I did was try to appease. Friendship turned into desperation, hungry for your attention and wanting you to be there as I was for you, hoping that the deity of you could change my fate. Loving you was like climate change, a vortex of heat that not even the weatherman could predict. Being your friend was like two multiverses colliding together, where I wanted to be everything and everywhere all at once for you. I wanted to be your lover and also the one facing you in the ring. I hated how I felt knowing I was confused with my feelings, and I felt like I wanted to be there for you and wanted to abandon you as well. I'm writing these poems because you make my heart hurt. I write these words so I can make sense of our friendship. I run tapestries in my mind's eye, trying to unlock the woulds, the shoulds, the could-haves. I'm writing this because I wish I could go back in time and never have stopped and said hi to you. Maybe there's a world where my heart never yearned for you, and I could finally be at peace and finally move on with my life. Thank you.
Chucky Rye! Chucky Rye! That ate up! Oh my gosh! So many quotable. Ragnarok Eye, two multiverses colliding together. Wow. This
Thank you
poem. You're welcome.
So, like, this poem, like, it's how I felt being bullied when I was in 5th grade and stuff. And just like, friendships are hard to maintain, man. Like, they're really hard. And when you put so much love and care and attention to a friendship and the friendship ends, it hurts. It hurts a lot. And I wrote this poem, and like every time, like, oh my god, it's tearing up over here. Every time like I write, I perform it and stuff, I'm literally on the verge of tears because it's real. It's truth.
That was so real. Like it was cutting. Like you said a line like writing to make sense of this. Friendship turned into desperation, and like how it became something where you're just hungry for attention. I'm like, that's just so relatable. Like, especially, well, I guess personally, I used to have a friend, and I got the gist that, she just wanted to have friends, and I was just one of the people she was hanging on to. But that's not a friendship. That's so many of the lines you said in here just cut. It was so raw. Thank you for that. And your delivery, on point.
Thank you so much.
Oh my gosh, I just want to bottle that up. Like, are you gonna release an album? Like, what's next?
So, this is a post-graduation project that I'm working on, but I'm working on a poetry book, and I want like an audio component to the poetry book. So look out for that in the future. This is like a 2-year project in the making. So, when I graduate, I'm putting my whole entire all into this.
Absolutely. So we'll definitely keep up with you about that. Is this just going to be a school thing, or are you going to publish it on your personal page?
Oh, I'm gonna publish it on my personal page. This is a personal project of mine, so it's gonna be a lot.
Sorry, I got a little bit confused because I think you were talking about your school project and there needs to be an audio component. So, is it both?
No, the poetry book and the audio component. I misspoke there for a second.
Okay.
No, I was saying with school, like I want to finish off school first, then like put my all into this project.
Oh, okay. Thank you for clarifying that, because the way I heard it was like a capstone project, like for your final semester. Okay, I get it. Yes. Okay. Gotta stay in tune with Chucky Rye. Chucky Rye, please. Sorry, I'm messing up your name. I'm getting so excited and like talking so fast. Chucky Rye, please say your handles and your final message to the people.
Perfect. Thank you. Oh my god, first things first, thank you guys so much for having me on here and stuff. Like, this meant the world to me. Like, this was the best part of my day, and you guys are amazing hosts. You can follow me on Chucky Finster. That is, let me get on my Instagram real quick. It's Chucky. You can follow me on Chucky TSVAKI _ Finster FINSTER on Instagram, and you can also follow my poetry page on Chucky's TSVAKIS _ poetry. And guys, open up, like rap, like, we all have a right to be heard. We all have a right to be loved. We all have a right, to share who we are to people and stuff. Stop the hiding. Stop the covering up of who we are, and just be out there in the open. You are who you are is enough. It's so enough. So thank you so much, guys.
Thank you so much, Chucky Rye. You're welcome back anytime. Definitely, everybody follow Chucky Finster on Instagram and Chucky's Poetry. And we are going to take a quick break. And when we return, I'm going to perform my monologue. the most awesome guest host, Tay DZ.
Who, little me? No way. But thank you.
You're definitely feeling poetic tonight, all the rhyming you've been doing.
I'm just feeling a little happy. I think I'm pretty amazing right now. I feel very, very confident.
Okay, so I must say that I made a mistake on the promotion. I said that our next guest, if you're following our social media, you definitely know the name of our next guest, Antoine, who, wait, not that person. Enigma. Enigma. But his TikTok is Twan the Poet. His poet's name is Enigma. And he's actually coming on at 9:30. So I advertised that he's coming on at 9, but he's a 9:30 featured poet. So definitely stay tuned for him. He's coming on in 29 minutes. In the meantime, I've got to read my monologue to all of you. This is something that I've got in the works. I definitely want it to be a sort of series of inserting different experiences to make this poem longer and longer, so that, I don't know, maybe eventually it can evolve into something being like, so other people add on to it where they add their own experiences, or like it's kind of a callback thing. This poem is called Nice Nasty. Have I read this yet, Tay?
I feel like you have, but honestly, please, for any new viewers who are just joining us, read it again.
I don't think I have, because I wrote this poem for the special, and the special was canceled last week.
Oh.
Yeah, I have mentioned Nice Nasty before, but I've never read this poem that I wrote about it. So this is a poem in the works.
They do.
And this is our topic. So, Nice Nasty. I'm very accustomed to women being nice nasty to me. Aha, you don't get it. Nice nasty Ruby Beth. Blonde, thinking she looks so right. She looks oh so wrong. Tresses hanging like straw. It's beyond me to let anything she has to say fall and become one of my stresses. She calls me she. She that, she this. Doesn't she know I'm precious? Call me by my name. I am K. More than competent, I'm confident in who I am and who I belong to. It's beyond you to escape unscathed from being nice nasty to me or anybody. Page turn. I stand tall when I speak. You're in no position to kick me out the meeting like a kid late to the classroom and can't find seating. I'd rather 5 seconds of ears flushing than 5 years ruminating over a missed opportunity to stand up for me, my dreams, my value, what I have to bring. My conversation, my ideas, my creativity won't be buried under the dull shine of your nice smile. Hi, Kay. How are you doing? Won't be crushed under the stinky wind of your walk by. Nice, nasty Ruby Beth. Don't speak. I'm not fooled at your fake sweet. I heard you take the first chance to gossip about me, talk about me in front of me like I'm non-existing. Your whole attitude of faketry is nothing new to me. Nice, nasty Ruby Beth. Keep it moving to Henrietta. She's your buddy who does it better. Just a little more fake niceties and a lot more nasty. I mean cackling as you fall to your wit's end of misery at my feet. To be continued. Nice nasty. My K-Bows. Okay. Okay.
Wait.
Thank you, Tay.
About the fire tonight, K-Bells.
Fire? I'm not sure. I felt like, well, I definitely felt I want to revise it. I felt it was a little repetitive. Maybe I don't want to be too critical on myself. I'm just telling you my thoughts for how I may change it later because it's a work in progress. I feel it comes across as kind of a rant. I want more examples in there of like, they did that and they did that. But yeah, that was something that was on my mind. So Tay, do you have an example of somebody being nice nasty to you?
I had a friend group actually. And within this friend group, there was a guy who didn't like me. Why didn't he like me? Kind of a dumb reason, honestly. Uh, but homeboy didn't like me. But see, when all of us would hang out together, he would try to be nice, nasty to me. You know, he even bought me food once. See, but behind my back, then he told our mutual friend, he's like, "There, I bought your boy some food." You know, like he's doing me a favor, brother. I didn't ask you to buy me food. You wasn't doing me a favor. You know, I understand you don't like me for a dumb reason, and I used to think to myself, Dad, I really want to confront him about this. But somebody told me, they were like, Dad, you don't, not everybody's gonna like you, and you can't confront everybody that doesn't like you. But you can always just let them go ahead and slide off your back, slide off your shoulders, because you don't even gotta think about them. If they don't like you, then so be it. And I was thinking to myself, I used to think, man, can't stand being around him. But after a minute, I was just like, you know what? Whatever. Whatever. He don't matter anyway. So I like the fire that you brought to your poem because it made me think about that.
People, the way they treat you can tear you out. Like it's the fakeness that gets me. If you just live in truth, if you're just plain old rude, fine. I might be like upset in the moment,
Mm-hmm.
but you can forget that because some people are just rude. But when people try to take you for a spin, when they try to be a storyteller and they're telling you a bad story and you're the victim and they're the villain, it's no go. It's like no, rip that page out.
Mm. Acting like church woman on a Sunday afternoon after service, talking about, did you hear what Nancy's daughter did? Ooh, talking like that. People just love to talk about you. But
Just
yeah.
love it. It's like I somehow I became the main character unintentionally.
Yeah.
There's always a hate base for the person who's just not afraid to walk to their own beat. And on that note, I actually have another poem that I didn't get a chance to read a few weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually called Poetic Moment 3.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard this, Tandy Z?
I don't think I have.
You know what? Let me perform it, and you tell me if you recognize it. I'm pretty sure I haven't read this.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. Poetic Moment 3. It's time for me to unleash and write it out. I get so tired of being an assistant in life. I really need some assistance in life on how to live as the main character rather than someone on the sideline who lives to watch others. Maybe I get it from my mother. Waiting and listening to see another's rhythm, waiting and serving their blues. I want to be a dancer, not listening, just doing my own moves. And then I wonder a little harder and see I'm her assistant because she lives through my misery and happiness. She has found the pulse of life and learned to walk along it. She is the main character. And then I remember she dreamed of me. She prayed for me, cried for me to be my best, and gave her life for me, wasn't ready to leave me. That sacrifice is the example that has guided me, a sacrifice of life for another. And now I sacrifice mine over and over for others, worthy or unworthy. I never sacrificed for my mother. She never asked for a repayment, just for me to be my best. Whatever God made me, He delivered me. He talks to me, and I ignore Him constantly. I should live in acceptance of who I am and who I belong to. I was made enough to accept His word. Lean in, say them, read the message, listen to the whispers. Just be. Just be. K-Bells.
Ooh. Okay.
Okay. I skipped a few lines in that because I wasn't sure if I wanted to read them. But yeah, that's kind of like a polar opposite. I guess I'm having an internal battle within the self of like self advocacy, but also feeling like I'm still not the best version of myself and wondering, well, why can't I be the main character I imagine in my head? Like, where do I get this from? But then also realizing I'm in control of my life. Like, I can be the main character if I want. So,
And you know, the thing is, what those poems, when put together, say to me is, you are the antagonist in somebody else's story, but for some reason you're not the protagonist in your own story.
I'm an antagonist?
I mean,
How is this villain?
judging by the first poem you read, you are somebody else's antagonist in their story. You are one of their main characters.
They were antagonizing me. I was the victim. They were the villain. They were nice, nasty to me. But then again,
But
I was kind of like lashing out and doing my poem in the mirror like Issa Rae does her raps.
but see, here's the thing: how you read that story, how you read both of those poems. You are not your own protagonist just yet. You're working on that, and you're working on that.
Wow. Well, yeah, I'm working on that. Can't wait for that poem where I'm the main character.
Yeah.
And I think that'll be one of my best pieces of writing yet because I'll finally be fully in tune with my truth.
Mm-hmm.
I've got one more for you, TDZ.
Hit me.
This poem is a shorty. It's called Good Writing. You know, we're still a work in progress. But there's one thing I noticed about how I know my writing is good or when it's getting to the good.
Mm-hmm.
So this is lovingly titled Good Writing.
Okay.
My stuff is only good when I'm having fun as I write it. I know on the moment I'm speaking about life as it happens. As writers, that's what we all strive to capture: integrity, truth, the dignity of a moment that makes a good story, something honest. Honest is funny. We spend so much time in life pretending not to hear or see. It's almost unbelievable when someone tells a true story because lies are so ordinary. They're boring. K-Bells.
Mm-hmm. Lies are very boring. Sorry, truth is very boring.
What? That was like the complete opposite of my poem. I was saying the truth is interesting and a lie is boring.
That's interesting because I feel like, but it's because like I feel like for a lot of people, the lies are more interesting and the truth is boring. That's why we have a lot of these stories that are based on a true story. You know,
Interesting.
People tell little white lies when they're telling you the truth. They're telling you a story to make it sound more interesting. So how you're putting it, telling the truth is more interesting. That's a new perspective.
I definitely think that because when somebody's telling you a story and it's something crazy, and then you say, "Did that really happen?" and they say, "Yeah," it's like amps times 10. It's like, "Oh snap!" and that really happened. So when it's the truth, in my mind, it's a better story.
Mm-hmm.
Like any story grounded in truth or that is the truth. If it is the truth, that's the best it gets right there. For example, this weekend, my mom showed me a TikTok of a Karen. Like she broke into, well, actually she didn't even break in. She opened the door and went upstairs in this black couple's home because they were blasting music. They were playing their music too loud. She was their neighbor. She goes in their house, goes upstairs, and she tells them in their house, in their room, to turn down their music. And of course she feels justified in doing this. And, they're recording the whole thing and they're saying, you don't belong in our house. Like, telling her to leave and stuff like that. But if someone told me that story, that somebody walked into their house, walked up the stairs and told them to their face to turn down their music, I'd be like, whoa, that's crazy. But as soon as they tell me it's true, I'd be like, whoa, that's crazy. So to me, things grounded in truth are so much more impactful than just, outright lies. Or I understand you have to embellish, to keep people interested. But if there's nothing real there, then what's the point?
It's a trite saying, but truth sometimes is stranger than fiction, and that's what keeps life interesting. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can tell stories with the truth. We were just talking earlier about story is king.
Mhm.
Um, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think the life, a part of what grounds us and connects us as people are stories. You know, we need something to hook us in, a beginning, middle, and an end.
Hmm.
And that poem about good writing was the end of my new poems for this episode.
Well,
Yeah.
speaking of truth being stranger than fiction, of course, we got some poetry news. We got some news to tell. And I do have to say, before I even get into that part of the news, let me just say the strangest story to come out of this past week, and I think we all know about it, is the story of the billionaires in the submarine who unfortunately perished in that submarine. But what's crazier than that story, and I feel, and I know it's crazy to say, what's more crazy than a bunch of rich people getting into a submarine trying to see, an underwater graveyard? It's the fact that a lot of people on social media don't really have a lot of sympathy for these people. You know, you go on Twitter, Instagram, what's being talked about? There are not a lot of people going, "Oh, rest in peace. I'm so sorry for these victims." It's why did they get in a submarine that barely worked in the first place?
Yo.
You
Oh
know.
my gosh. Yeah, that's the question because truthfully, I don't follow the news. However, I knew about this story through work because they talk about the news at work. And then my mom watches the news and she's talking about why the heck were they in a submarine? Why would you get in that thing with a bunch of rags hanging off of it? Why would you get in something that looks deteriorated like that? So it So I don't know. I mean, when I found out that there were billionaires in the submersible, it kind of clicked in my head. Oh, okay, that's why tourists went on a submersible that deep into the ocean because this is the sort of thing like billionaires do for leisure. This is very extravagant, very much. We're really trying hard to have a good time. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for them. They passed away.
Mm-hmm.
However, it just seemed like such a unique thing to do. Like most people just do what do they call it? Not scuba diving, snorkeling. Most people just snorkel.
Yeah,
Like when you're on vacation, when you want to get off the cruise ship,
yeah.
or even if you like want to go to your local lake or river, you buy one of those plastic masks from the
Mm-hmm.
dollar store and like a tube to put in your mouth and you just look at the bottom of the water bed. But a submersible,
And you know
yuck.
what's crazy to me? So even crazier, somebody on social media said there's no there's nothing else you need to explore in the ocean right now. You want to look, and somebody said this is why black people don't have a sense of exploration, or why we haven't explored anything. And I thought to myself, what were those rich people exploring that we have not already found out from scuba divers already finding the wreckage, from them already 3D mapping it so you can see a 3D image of the wreckage on the internet, and also from James Cameron visiting it like 30 times to make Titanic the movie. Like at that point, there's nothing to explore there. You're telling me you want to explore a graveyard? It's a graveyard, y'all. It's a graveyard. It's not. It's not like. It's not the Mariana Trench. It's not deep space. It's a graveyard.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I mean, I was just thinking, oh yeah. Like when I first heard about it, I was like, oh, okay, I understand. Like that's a very tourist thing to do. Like I was kind of equating it to seeing not Edgar Allan Poe. Who's the guy who made Scream?
Oh, like the Scream,
Yeah,
the
not
painting.
yeah, the Scream.
Oh, that wasn't
I just
Dolly.
equated it to going to the museum and seeing one of those like immersive like artscapes. Like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, you just want to be entertained. So I understand.
Edvard Munch, Norwegian artist. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. I meant midnight. I don't even know what I'm talking about for real. Like I don't. But I feel like that was the rich person's version of just going to the museum. Like they didn't want a replica. They
Mm-hmm.
wanted to see the real thing at the real site.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, it was a means to an end for them.
Uh, well, I mean, rest in peace to him. Sorry it had to happen. But that
Tay, you gotta sound more genuine than that. You sound sarcastic. Like, although they were billionaires and they were doing something leisurely, like there were real people who lost their lives. They imploded in this submersible. Like that's
You're right.
Tragic. They probably suffered a lot of anxiety, like right before they passed away, because something they lost communication. Like it's a tragic end, and I'm sorry for their family's loss.
I'm sorry for the family's loss. I really am. Trust me, I am. Just won't catch me on that stuff. That's all I'm saying. You won't catch me doing that.
Also, you won't catch me in a sinkable boat with rags.
Although, funny enough, one of the family members related to one of the people that was in the submarine, on the day of them finding out that they were missing, the guy was shooting his shot with an OnlyFans model on Twitter. So,
heard about that.
I don't know. Anyway,
but like the OnlyFans model, okay, this is what tripped me out about that. Like, this is one of the OnlyFans models that doesn't even post like nude photos. It's one of those accounts that people are just subscribed to. Like, I don't understand the value. I guess if I were a guy, I'd get it, but I just feel like.
Trust me, even as a guy, I don't get it.
Oh, okay. It's just be subscribed to Instagram. I don't know.
Well, I'm gonna give you some quick shots, some quick snapshots of other news going around. Paul McCartney, of course, remember the Beatles, just created an AI Beatles song. AI was used to finish an uncompleted song that John Lennon wrote right before his death.
Wow.
So that's going to be released later this year. I don't know how Yoko Ono feels. I don't know how other people feel right now. For me, wow, I don't think I want someone to make an AI Biggie song or anything. I don't think I want to see an AI, Eazy-E song with NWA. Me personally, let's keep the dead. Let's not capitalize off of them after death. That's all I'm saying. Please. But
yeah, I get that. Like, I guess that's how people felt with Tupac. Like, they made a 3D rendition of him and he did concerts. Yeah. I feel like if you're an artist, and I feel like deceased artists, if they have classics that are still on the radio, you don't need to add to their discography. They're already known and remembered as great.
Yeah, and most big artists have a large catalog of unreleased songs anyway, so you can literally make millions off of them post death anyway. You don't need to craft new songs for them, like they're I don't. But also in the news, a writer is calling out the British Museum for using her translations of Chinese poetry in an exhibition without permission. A woman who basically, her name is Yin Wang, and she was translating Chinese poetry from a Chinese poet from the early 20th century, a feminist revolutionary named Kui Jin. And she, of course, made poetry during the early 20th century, during the Chinese Empire. She was a revolutionary. She was executed. Her poetry was preserved. And then this woman was trying to basically translate her works to English, and then a British museum took those translations and put them in their museum without permission. So,
I mean, that's just like a colonizer. I mean, I'm sorry that happened to her, but there had to be some piece of her that anticipated that.
You have to think. But you know what, though? The British Museum did remove the writings, the translations, and were like, hey, sorry.
Awesome.
Oh, man. And finally, in the news for Poetry News, to give a quick update on the WGA strike, day 50, they're still, yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, Kay's winning the bet. They're gonna protest for a year. Yay! Okay, I'm so far from winning this bet. I need like 300 more days on the ground to win this bet.
So it is basically official. Once Yellowstone wrapped up this past week, all major film and TV productions in LA have been shut down. Yep. There is no more. There is no filming. There is no television shows being written. No, none of that. The only shows being recorded right now, I guess, are they're like reality shows, game shows. But other than that, no.
I know that's right. Bring the business to Baltimore. Bring the business to Baltimore. Mini Hollywood's popping up all around the nation.
Yeah,
I don't think that directly correlates.
It don't, but we like the spirit here. We like the spirit.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, I appreciate what the people in the WGA are fighting for. You know, we can't become like supporters of an industry that slights people who really are content creators. Like writers for these TV shows and movies are another form of content creator, and they do need to get paid. Like just because you're writing for a streaming platform, they need to get with the times. Like you need to get on the YouTube business model, the Twitch business model, whatever, and share the revenue adequately, because without these content creators, these writers, you've got no story.
No.
Story is king.
Story is king. You're absolutely right. And
plot
unfortunately,
is queen.
Sorry. I like that. I like that though. No need to apologize. Don't need to apologize at all. I like that.
Thank you.
Well, yeah. That has been poetry news. Thank you, Kate Bells, for listening in on the news and interacting. Thank you, thank you. I'm glad to be your only source of news, apparently.
Oh, you're absolutely welcome. You and my trusty Google feed. Thank you so much, Tady Z, for the poetry news. We'll be right back in 3 minutes with Enigma. We're back on Poetry Slam. I'm your hostess, K Bells, with our awesome guest host, T D Z.
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
We've got to get your sign on. You know, Napoleon B. Might. He's got his Napoleon B. Might. We've got to get your, and I've got my K Bells. You know, like a bell. We've got to get your T D Z or TDZ. You know, we gotta. What's the vibe?
I used to do what was it? T D Z. But that when I had a microphone in front of me, if I feel like that hit better. You know, I don't got
Right.
so I gotta get a microphone so I can hit people again with the T D Z.
Oh snap! Okay, I have a little snowball mic. It was inexpensive. However, you can get a stand. Like you can still get this type and get a stand so it hangs over, so you can lean in and get that effect.
That has a microphone has been on my to purchase list for a minute now. Definitely for a minute now.
Tay, I know you have lavalier microphones. You can actually just use your lavaliers until you buy like a microphone for a desk.
You see, y'all, this is why I need a, you know, she's like my second brain sometimes, y'all. I'm just saying, you know, K-Bells be spitting sometimes. It's crazy. It's crazy. You are absolutely right. You know,
Yeah, I mean, I definitely see lots of people on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube just using little lavalier microphones to talk into. I actually bought one like with my recorder. They're pretty handy, and the ones you have are effective. We've done interviews with them before, so
you're right.
if you're just talking into it, you're interviewing yourself.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're absolutely right. So, yeah, this is why you need somebody around who, you know, sometimes you, when you're thinking, it's like, you know, thinking's almost like making a mess. And you kind of need somebody to help get up, like mop up the straggling pieces that you're trying to pick up. K Bells picks up the straggling little pieces that sometimes lay on the ground that I forget about.
Oh yeah, it's my brain mucus. It just seeps out and just envelopes things, and it becomes a part of the mucus and just continues collecting lint and bobby pins and.
Bobby pins.
Okay, I've got an update on Enigma.
Mm-hmm.
I hope I didn't just compromise the Poetry Slam Instagram account because Enigma's been telling me that his IG was hacked. So he had a link sent to my phone and I sent it back and a code. So I hope that I did right, trusting him, and that I'm not gonna get hacked now, and that it's the real him. I sent him the Skype link and he said he's having a hard time joining. I don't know how to solve that. Should I just send the link again?
I think you try and send the link one more time, see what happens. Hopefully, homeboy can get on in. You know,
I don't know if we have a fallback because we have to use Skype to broadcast onto our channel. We can't really do it through YouTube.
Now, granted, we can always have him call one of our numbers and hold the phone up to the microphone. We might have to play a little. Oh, wait, hold up. K-Bells.
Hello?
Oh, snap! Enigma, is that you?
Show your
oh,
face.
snap! It's you! Hi!
There you go.
The Enigma has a rock. You know what? I was just about to talk trash about you. I was just about to talk trash about you because I was like, he's telling me this story about being hacked. I don't know if it's true. I'm
No,
nervous.
it really is. No, my personal IG was hacked. The page that you were sending links to, that's my poetry page, so that page is okay. But the other one, the humble breed one, that one is gone. So that's very true.
Okay, cool. You're here now. You've been proven true and trustworthy. Thank you, Enigma.
Of course.
Okay, we're so glad to have you on the show. By the way, the Instagram is at theenigma.poet.
Correct.
We need to know, how did you get your stage name?
I honestly, I had to come up with that by myself because at Morgan, especially in the MSU Poets Club, if you don't know, I'm gonna tell you right now, if you don't have a poet name in that club, they're gonna give you one based off of how you write. They're just gonna name. They're gonna throw a name out there, and it's just like Twitter. If somebody hears something and it sticks, that's just your name. So I remember first semester I was shotgun for a little bit. Then I was like, if I'm performing at places, because people were asking me to perform at like formal events, so I couldn't go to a formal event and then get on stage and tell them my name was Shotgun. So I had to flip it, and I was telling people my name was Shy Gun because I'm from Chicago, and I guess that was like for a week or two, and then people were calling me Twan the Poe. It was a lot. So the enigma I came up for myself finally just last semester. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So we're curious to hear some of your poems. Like, I'm imagining you're a punchy poet. Like, you've got some quotables, you've got some things that's just gonna uh.
You know, I got a few of them, few of those pieces like that.
Okay. Okay, I don't want to hype you up too much because a jinx is possible, but I
Oh,
doubt that.
never. No, that don't apply to me.
That is implying that's never happened on the show. Like, I feel we've only had one true flop. Tay, can you fact check me on that?
Somebody flopped.
It wasn't a poet. It wasn't a poet. It's just you shouldn't, show up to public appearances intoxicated. That was really what it was.
Okay.
Right. Okay. So we're ready for our poem. We got to get straight into it because we were starting a little late.
Okay, yes. All right. So this first one is called Insane. Sometimes the things I do make people think that I'm insane. Like wearing white forces on rainy days, a poetic paramedic killing crowds with poetic pain. After I broke my last bend, I knew my life needed some change. I picture living that kind of life with an artifact for a brain. See, the enigma is anything but average, but I write a mean rap. And people say they hungry to grow, but can't stomach no feedback. I'm filthy like a dental plaque, but I'm keeping the real intact. Shoot out words just like they bullets till they making an impact. And they sick like a cardiac illmatic to be exact. So don't question the use of all the verbs. Just know my pieces are action packed. Because these are talented alchemists that surely part analogists. They tried to calculate my limit, but I'm beyond that calculus. My pen strength, a catalyst to writers growing passionless. It pains me to do this to you, but fuck it, I'm a masochist. Your big game doesn't exist. This propane is blasphemous. Fell off a few due to the process, but it's always love to the tip. The truth gets darker than sense. Closed minds hard to convince. Where they can lay down the cost of change, but then lie upon the expense. If I keep pushing these limits, then maybe I could shake the frames. On these biased lenses, people hold on others because their lives don't turn out the same. They throw stones at glass houses trying to reflect what they reframe. But that hate will never stop that owner from building what he lost to gain. And we claim insanity is defined as doing something repeatedly and expecting a different outcome, which will eventually lead to you questioning your existence and lose all hope to push against rumors with resistance. It's all as expected because resilience is not half of that premonition. They'll know you'll start doubting yourself until your will turns fiction. So I want to extinguish the context of the term and the definition. Keep grinding because as long as you see it, they won't need proof of your vision because the real dreamers know the difference between insanity and persistence. Poem.
Ooh.
Thank you.
The difference between insanity and persistence.
Yes.
Ooh, punch from the enigma. Thank you so much for that. You had me hooked at wearing Air Forces in the rain. I was just thinking, okay, if I didn't know like how you look, based on that, I was like, okay, this is an African American male. Like, this is very much a Black culture statement.
Mm-hmm. Very much so.
So, what inspired you to write that poem?
I I honestly was. I think I wrote this sophomore year. So my sophomore year on Morgan campus, I was sitting in my religion class, and we weren't really going off of what the teacher was had in store for us that day. We were just having a class discussion, and there were a lot of people who had their own concepts of what working really hard and grinding is, and like what the American dream was about, and how somebody would look crazy for chasing a dream, or if they would, in their eyes, like the basically just the perception what's like behind chasing a dream and how you look to others, basically. So that's what that's what had me thinking. That whole conversation sent me down a spiral. And at the time, my writing was more like I was trying to come up. I will always actively try to come up with the most clever lines I could possibly come up with on a day to day. So I was the white forces when I was wearing white forces that day, and it just so happened to rain almost, but I had no clue that it was gonna rain. So that's why that was in there that day. So, but that was the inspiration, that conversation on religion.
Oh, awesome. Thank you for explaining that. And for those who are listening who don't know Enigma, he's a junior electrical engineering major who goes to Morgan State University. He's from Chicago. He's a future leader and former events coordinator of MSU Poets. So, thank you so much for being on our show. And I must ask, why go from Chicago, Illinois? Is it Illinois or Illinois?
It's Illinois.
Okay, what's the thing between saying Illinois and Illinois? Like,
I don't. I'm really not sure. I guess it depends on where you're from. I think so. People here in Illinois say Illinois. No, I don't think I've heard anybody really enunciate that S at the end. So maybe it's our accent, but I don't know. I don't know.
I never really thought about it, but I was watching a YouTuber who's from Illinois, and she had a thing about you never say the S. Like, she was confused about people saying the S, and I guess I just thought, well, maybe I never knew how to pronounce it because I don't hear anybody else say the S either.
I don't. It must be like a Midwestern thing because I've heard people blame it on our accents, and I don't think we have accents either. But yeah, there's that. And then when I leave and go other places, like the East Coast, for example, people say Illinois, and I don't get on them about it. It's just different. I say Illinois. So
Gotcha. Dang. Okay, so back to my original question of why did you choose to go to a school on the East Coast?
I really wanted to get out of Chicago.
Why? It seems like a happening place. Like,
are you serious? What?
Oh, Tay is laughing. Tay busting out laughing
because he knows. He knows. We're here. We both know Chicago is not. I mean, when you live here, you're sick of it. But like, especially if you hear things outside, I would imagine that not being from here, you only go off the things that you hear about Chicago. It is not. It can be a fun place to be. Like, it's a huge city. Don't get me wrong, but like, I want to leave home. I don't want to get used to seeing these people every day, like the same people. I want to leave.
Oh, okay. I've never seen The Shy. I just know Chicago is like a happening place. But Tay, you clicked in like you've got something to say. So come on.
I want to hear what he has to say.
All I'm saying is, look, I understand that media can shape a lot of things. So I'm not saying Chicago is like what the media portrays. But also, when you hear from people themselves, like the actual people who live there, I don't know.
This is versus Baltimore. It's no difference.
Hey.
It's the people. That's the only difference. It's the people you meet.
Dag. Okay. Glad you're out. Okay, well, we'd love to hear another poem from you, and then we're going to play our game.
Okay, cool. Let me handle with care. When I ship my boxed up feelings to you, because the weight of it all gets too heavy for me to bear, you can trust that I'll address them all later with a note saying, handle with care. You must be aware of my nonsense. When I'm speaking out through my conscience, I'm so unbothered by these white margins. I'm starving for better content. I refrain from all my conflict, and I'm so conservative, I seem pompous. And it took one call to revive a dream that died in these sonnets. It's wild enough because I know somewhere within the process and from another optic, it all seems crazy. With this lady, I need a psychiatric synopsis. When you love someone way more than you could ever have love for yourself, and you too infatuated with how you felt, you think it's good for your mental health. The times I ignored my strongest intuitions was when I started ignoring myself. To her, it's just another roller coaster ride to enjoy. But for me, it feels like your heart is on a pendulum roasting over a field of fire. And that aroma that wanders over smells of lavender and flowers. I could cradle it to the grave, but it's not as apparent as I desired. I just wish I gained more love than the anguish that I acquired. And that's when she'll ask me if things is all right. I'd always tell her I'm fine, but in truth, she long, I'd be lying. It's just a system I keep in place to avoid redundant fights. These are the things that always keep my conscience up all night. On the topic of love alone, these questions trouble my mind. Like if we caught in that violent rain while Prince is playing the whole time we fight, would it still sound like matrimony when those love doves cry? Tears in their eyes carry scary seeds of sorrow soiled in time. So would you sacrifice everything to work it out in one night? Yeah, well, that's what I thought. So while our love becomes timeless, the fear sheds light on the problems. And when we lack in that common sense and latch on to what seems prominent, a trauma structures are growth by dents, so the pain embodies a monolith. To my defense, this perfect portrait pertains to previous poison pulled from repent. But just because you felt what was abstract don't mean what y'all had was cement. So when she shipped her boxed up feelings to me, because the weight of it all was too heavy for her to bear, count me as rational for not giving her a fraction of my care.
Enigma.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So how was that, guy?
That was awesome. I mean, shipping her boxed up feelings to you. The whole thing gave me the vibe of hip hopera, like the rhythm and like the storytelling kind of reminded me of a 90s R&B song. Like, do you remember those? Like Usher's These Are My Confessions Part 2.
Yeah.
But it was punchier than that, and it just had like a better like rhythm, you know. And I really liked that story that you told. Like you said, like with this woman, I need a psychiatric synopsis. I was like, ooh.
Yes.
So who had you messed up? Like,
who have that person? I grew up from like I want to say since like 5th grade. I knew this person, and we were like long-term friends, and that turned into it took a while, but it turned into something else, and I guess that's what made it, that much more of a heartache, So yeah, that person, yeah, it's very close.
Wow. So this was like a friends to lovers story?
Absolutely.
Like over what time period? Like a decade? Because in 5th grade we're 11?
I believe so. Yeah.
Wow. Quite the love story.
Indeed.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing that. I gotta ask you one of our famous questions, and in our last few minutes, I'm not sure if we can play our game actually because we don't have Napoleon B. Might. Tay DZ's our guest host, so if he's up for it, then we can play the game, which is Slamm. It's our improv poetry game where one of us starts it off with a poem, and then we sort of riff off each other's like improv poems until somebody freezes or we go around 3 times.
Interesting.
Yeah, but it won't be as fun with just 2 people. So we'll get back to Tay to see if he wants to do it. Otherwise, we got to have you back when Napoleon B. Might's here and play Slamm.
Okay.
But I definitely have to know, how often do you think about being famous, Enigma?
How often do I think about being famous? I would say at least like 2 to 3 times a month.
Ooh.
2 to 3
Okay.
within like one or 2 weeks of a month. I always get those moments like where I'm randomly doing something or I'm in my room. I'm always in the house. I can't be out actively thinking, but I'm in the house and I think about where things can go depending on what kind of direction I take. So yeah, 2 to 3 times a month.
Okay. That sounds like a very honest answer. Thank you for that. I would have to say I probably think about it like 3, 4 times a week. 3
Yeah,
times a week.
I'm sure everybody is like, man, I gotta have those. I gotta have certain things. I gotta get to a certain level. You know, everybody has that ambition, but I don't know how many people has that like I want to be famous ambition. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
I get that. There are levels to it. But when you imagine like having your dedicated audience, like who do you imagine your poems are for?
The people that enjoy listening to artists like Wale, like any J. Cole or Wale, like basically the Dreamville fans, I want to say, with the addition of Wale, those type of people, I want to say, I believe, yeah, because that's who I attract. So with my pieces, whenever I perform anywhere, I like to like think about a person's personality after meeting them, and especially looking at the kind of music that they listen to. So, and a lot of people that I get in touch with after shows, they tell me Wale, Dreamville, the whole shebang, basically that side of the industry.
Oh, I'm already unmuted. That's awesome. Yeah. When I hear your poems, I think of them, well, some of them as like a cappella rap. Like you really have a good natural rhythm.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, do you have one more poem that you'd like to perform?
Um, I actually do.
Okay, let's do that. And
All right,
then we'll try Slamm.
okay, cool. All right, this piece is called No Strings. I will say keep Pinocchio in mind, like the old school Pinocchio story. So, starlight, you shine bright on my darkest of nights. I'm small minded because you the only one I want for the night. Shit, I wish that I may, and I wish that I might have this dirty wish of mine bestowed upon you one night. The fact is, her attractions got me thinking real graphic, and the slopes of her axis had me acting as backwards. Moving forward, my only tactic was to gain a transaction and keep the moments that we share from seeming anticlimactic. But it seems this Disney queen was content with wishes and dreams and feelings of fruit. As for her last, he tried to jack her for her feelings with a hateful dispute. Since he's losing her by her, since he's losing her by his own hands, I refuse to go follow suit. Cause her will is to off him and think of me, her fresh prince of a new. This fairy tale entangled our wish to become absolute. A Pinocchio kind of wood. If I'm false, then you'll see it's true. Just grant my wish and we'll both see if this deck was just made for you. And furthermore, if you question this paramour, this goes beyond your fetching physique. My lady, I'm your personal connoisseur. I swear I can assure I'm trying to open up your mind to give myself a grand tour, man. You had me with your brochure, personality and all, and your love, some insecurity has allured your every flaw. You inspired a talent within my jaws, and so I jot, make me dismantle my repertoire, and so you thicken the plot. From me and Cupid playing, quick draw on two towering metaphors of these thoughts and feelings, love shots just brandishes this fall for you. I'd fall even harder than I presume. But it's safe to say if you don't feel the same, there's a void in which my feelings will get buried deeper than Egyptian tombs. I'd never try to control you. Puppeteering is not what I do, and I know your man does enough of that. A king turned fool, but this fool won't double back. So if you still conflicted about this dream, I want to keep that love hate thing intact. I'll just keep my wish under wraps and leave you be, with no strings attached. Oh.
Enigma. end. Like, you're really strong at ending a poem.
Oh, I take that very seriously.
What?
I take that very seriously. Trying to end my pieces. I won't even dare say it's finished until I feel like it has a really strong piece. Until it all comes full circle for me.
Oh, snap. That's really admirable. Because I feel it's common, like, as artists, we keep like changing our work, you know, like you write something a year ago and then you look at it again, you're like, oh yeah, I can add this to it. Or like you started something last week and you know you're writing it till next month.
Yes. Perfectionist. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That is
but I admire that a lot about you, because personally, like, I read unfinished poems all the time, and like I'm always wanting that like last line to really seal it. But you've already well, I won't say master because that might be too much hype, but you've already, you know, got that skill.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. What was oh, Tay's smiling. Come on now, Tay. You want to do Slamm?
Oh, hey, how are y'all? I was smiling, you know, mostly because this has been a very good show, honestly. Pretty impressed with how the show's been going. I think it's one of the best shows ever. But that's just me. I'm just sitting here.
That's the guest host. Like, you know, Tay, he usually only gets like 15 minutes. So.
30 minutes if I'm good.
Wow.
Right. Oh, we're actually out of time, guys. It's like 10:01.
Oh no, don't worry. You want to do Slamm? I've extended it.
Oh, well, Enigma, do you have another 5 minutes, or do we gotta hit you back?
I have another 5 minutes.
Okay. I do too.
Me too.
All right, so is this this is the what you were trying to explain earlier, right? The I can't. What's the word?
It's like an improv poetry game. We call it Slamm. Yeah. So Tay's gonna start it, and then I guess we'll go to me so that you can get an idea of the flow, or not really the flow, but like we're just gonna go in a circle. So Tay says whatever he wrote down, and then I'll just riff off of what he said, and then you riff off of what I said, and we go until someone freezes or 3 times in a row. And if you want to interrupt somebody, you have to say slam, slam, slam. Like if someone's really setting you off, you can go in after you do that.
Interesting. Okay. This is like basically like that game off of Wild 'N Out practically.
Oh, which game? I've seen lots of episodes of Wild 'N Out. They do so many improv games. But which one are you talking about? Oh snap! Did you freeze? No, did you freeze?
Oh.
Tay, no. Is Enigma frozen on your side?
It kind of looks. Mostly because
I can't hear or see.
My man, where have you gone? Let me see. Man.
We may have to do it next time. Maybe this is a sign. I don't know. If we can't get him back in by 10:05 in like 2 minutes, then I think we should just tie up the show.
You're a rep.
I sent him a text.
Oh, man.
I think he was hype.
He has indeed left the show right now. If he doesn't come back by 10:05, yeah, we can go ahead. We can wrap up the show.
All right, let's give him a couple minutes. So Tay, you wrote this an impromptu poem?
Yeah, I did. It was a shorty, I guess. You know, I'm trying.
I hope it's not so short. I don't know what to say.
No, I think you'll know what to say. I ain't make it crazy short. It's just short enough.
Okay. I'm nervous because we have such awesome poets on our show. I'm like, oh man. Oh
Mm,
man, like my riff's gotta be good. With B Might, it's cool. Cause B Might, he's like
chill.
the riff. He's
Yeah.
Napoleon riff B Might.
Yeah, I like to think that when I start you up with something not too bad, not too bad. But I I'm trying to get better at my impromptu riffing. Under pressure. We will see how that goes, though. You
We've
know.
got a little list compiling of poets we have to slam with. It's Amuche and Enigma. How about it would be so cool if it were me, Be My, you, Amuche, and Enigma all together. Slam of five. It'll be
Mm.
our first super slam.
What if it was something where all the poets that you've had in the past on this show, you've had quite a few. All the poets come together and just have a big old slam tournament.
We would love that. You know what? That sounds like an awesome idea for our live show. Everybody stay tuned for that. It's been such an awesome episode. We're so sorry that we lost connection with Enigma. However, you can definitely follow him on Instagram. His Instagram handle is theenigma.poet at theenigmapoet on Instagram. His Twitter, well, I don't know his Twitter, but his TikTok is Twan the Poet. Definitely keep up with him. Follow his poetry page. He's incredibly talented, and we are oh so grateful to him for bringing so much value to our show tonight. Thank you so much, TDZ, for guest hosting, and thank you to our listeners and viewers for tuning in to our 2-hour poetry show. This has been K Bells on Poetry Slam, and
TDZ.
good night, y'all.